Good morning, and welcome back to Planet Doug. It's 5 to 9 in the morning, December 17th, Saturday, and this is the day my ferry is scheduled to take me to Sumatra. I'm leaving a little bit later than I had planned. Not surprisingly, everything took a bit longer this morning than I thought it would, doing something like this for the first time. That's the PD Seafront Hotel behind me, and I have to ride 2 or 3 kilometers to get to the dock. And I'm supposed to be there at 9 o'clock. I planned to be there before 9 o'clock, in fact. But as I said, I'm moving a bit slower this morning than I expected. Not so bad this morning. I made it across. I was trying to cross yesterday as I was walking around this neighborhood, and yeah, it was very hard to get across. Well, I definitely should have left earlier. For some reason, I got all turned around after I left my hotel. And I turned left at the main intersection when I should have turned right. And somehow my internal compass is all mixed up in terms of where the water is and where the port is. And as you can see by the amount of vehicles on the road, it's very busy right now, so you have to be on your toes. Whew. But I think we still have time. They tell you to show up, of course, 2 hours early. And I usually like to arrive 2 hours early, if not even earlier, even for a ferry, but you don't absolutely have to, especially for a boat where the boarding procedures are a little bit more relaxed. I've reached the turnoff for the ferry, heading in that direction. Funny thing is, I came here the other day with Matthew in his car, and he was driving. And I tried to pay attention to all the details, but because I was just a passenger in a car, I wasn't paying as much attention as I would had I gone here on my own. So in fact, I left this morning from the hotel with unwarranted confidence that I knew the way, because I came here by car. It doesn't mean getting here by bike would be automatic. So that's why I turned the wrong way right out of the gate. There's the water off to the left. Yeah, gate is wide open, which is nice. And I think I can just go right in. I don't really have a choice because my bicycle is also my luggage. Now, things from here could get a little bit complicated, because right out of the gate, I won't be able to bring my bicycle inside. Oh. Good morning. How are you? So that worked out really well. In fact, they have a check-in desk over there, like outside the building, which is nice. Like right over here where all the people are crowded around. So there's a check-in desk there on the right. And then once you check in, then there's luggage is here. And I guess you pay by the weight and pay for the bicycle and things like that. yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they end up weighing and how it all works out. Time to go get the bike ready. Yeah, this is the logistically and everything else, this is probably the most difficult part of the journey. Bicycles are fun to ride, but they're not fun to put on boats and things like that. So yeah, there's the bike. So I got to get it set up. Hello. Oh, I thought all these people were waiting in line, but shorter lineup than I realized. All right, so yeah, it's sort of interesting when you go to one of these places. There's a lot of activity and a lot of sort of shouted things, and it's easy to get caught up in the stress and the tension. Like if other people are kind of exhibiting sort of stress and, go faster, you kind of get caught up in that mood. And I have a tendency to do that. So I try to just take a beat and just sort of relax. Don't let people rush me, do things slow and steady. But I've already checked in, and here they have a system where they remind you, like, make sure you have money to pay for the visa arrival when you get there, either US dollars, Malaysian ringgit, or 500,000 Indonesian rupiah. It all works out to roughly like $35 US, a little bit more or less. And because they have so many people show up there, and there's no ATM at the dock, and they have no money to pay for the visa on arrival, and then it turns into a huge problem. So I think when I talked to the ferry company, they told me I had to pay at the desk when I got there. But the reality is that they just make sure at the desk that you have the money before they'll let you on the boat, just to avoid any problems. So that's what that's all about. Anyway, I'm going to have to get this all set up. Okay, I guess that's as good as I can manage. At this point, I had checked in already, and the next stage was to check in my luggage, but I wasn't really sure what the system was. Was I supposed to go up to the desk and talk to them? I'd already been to the desk and talked to them for a little bit, but I didn't really get an understanding of what the system was. And it seemed like the only thing I could do was sort of stand there and wait my turn, and eventually they would get around to me. But again, the entire time I was there, I really wasn't sure. Okay. I thought maybe I was standing there just wasting my time and I was supposed to do this or do that. I couldn't figure it out. But I just watched the scenery, and I noticed that all the luggage handlers were putting individual luggage tags on every bag, and they were filling out information on those tags, but no one was actually given a matching tag. So I'm not quite sure what the point of the tags were. Dropping off your luggage and then picking it up at the other end was all based on just a visual recognition. Okay, that's my bag, and then you pick it up and you leave with it. At no point was a luggage tag ever involved in the process. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And I eventually paid for my luggage, and they gave me a receipt. And when I asked about a luggage tag, they just said, well, you
you have your receipt that you paid, and then when you get to the other end, you just look for your bike, look for your trailer, look for your bag. And there's my trailer being weighed. Quite a heavy unit the way I packed it that morning.
Yeah, I just put it here.
And yeah, they're just going to take it away now, and they've weighed it. And then I had to go pay the woman the total for my bike and the bags.
Okay, so your baggage is 43 ringgit and the bicycle is 20, so it's 63.
63.
Yeah, I tried to come earlier, but I got lost coming here. 63?
Yeah.
50, 63.
Okay, so they already, immigration already start to board. You can go in now.
Okay, just go in through here.
Show them your passport.
And the luggage, I don't get like a luggage tag?
No, we give you the receipt.
Okay.
So when you reach Dumai port, at the pontoon, they will load your bicycle and your bag there, then you collect there.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is all done. I checked in my trailer, the bicycle, and the one pannier bag. I kind of wanted just to leave the pannier bag attached to the bike. That's the easiest way to deal with it. I actually emptied that pannier bag. There's nothing in it, so it doesn't really matter where it goes. But because they need to scan everything and there's something broken here, so they had to take that bag off. So I checked it in as a separate bag. And yeah, everything went well, very smooth. Everything here is, yeah, very well organized. Though, as I said, there is a lot of tension in the air because everybody is working hard at their job. So people come up to you, you know, like when they need your passport, now, passport. And you kind of have to take a step back and just sort of go at your own pace. Make sure that you get everything done, you know. But still, yeah, it's a stressful thing to do. But anyway, they weighed the trailer, weighed the bag, and that came to 43 ringgit for all of my luggage there, and then 20 ringgit for the bicycle, so 63 ringgit total. And now I have to go through immigration to, yeah, go through immigration. And as I said, they double-checked with me to make sure I have enough cash when I get to Indonesia to pay for the visa on arrival. So, yeah, anyway, can run the camera when I go through immigration, so I'll check back in when I get out the other side. Well, that is it. I'm through immigration and ticket checking and just now walking on the dock out to the boat. It's 25 after 10, so the boat is scheduled to leave in about half an hour. It leaves at 11 o'clock. And my unusual travel history set off a whole bunch of alarm bells at immigration because they saw a number of things, I guess. I guess it's unusual, I think, for someone like a Westerner like me to go to Malaysia or to Indonesia by boat like this. So just the fact that I'm here means they took a more careful look at me. And then the immigration officer noticed all of my stamps in Thailand. So, you know, he saw that I'd been in Thailand for quite a long time, and that's a bit unusual. So that raised a red flag for him. And then he saw that my passport, the one I'm traveling on, was issued in Bangkok. And I find that's always an unusual thing where that tends to make you suspect if your Canadian passport was not issued in Canada, but through a Canadian embassy in another country. That tends to lower its validity in the eyes of immigration. It shouldn't, of course, because it's a Canadian passport and I had to get it from a Canadian embassy. The Canadian embassy in Bangkok is the same as doing it in Ottawa or Toronto or anywhere in Canada. But I noticed that if they do see that your passport was issued in Bangkok or Seoul or like any country around the world, then they don't like that. They like to see issued in Canada. They don't want to see that it's issued in another country. Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. It really shouldn't make any difference at all, but it means they take a closer look at you. And then he asked me, you know, the standard questions, you know, how long are you going to be in Indonesia? And then the key question, the one that got me in all kinds of trouble was, well, where are you going to go after your visit to Indonesia? And I said I planned to return to Malaysia. Because, you know, I'd already bought my ferry ticket to return to Malaysia. That was my plan all along. And that was the final straw for him. He's like, he didn't like that at all. So he gathered up all of my documents and said, well, follow me. And I went into the formal interview office, you know, where a senior immigration official was sitting. And then I had a long discussion with her and with the original immigration officer about who I am and what I'm doing. And at the beginning of the discussion, she essentially told me I would not be allowed back into Malaysia, period. So she basically was sort of like a card player, like laying her cards out on the table. And she says, okay, I just want to tell you, what you're facing here so that you can make a decision. It's like, I'm telling you now that if you get on this boat and you go to Sumatra, we will not allow you back into Malaysia. You can go back to Canada, but you cannot come back into Malaysia. That's it. So that's option number one. And she says, well, option number two, you can cancel your trip, stay in Malaysia, and then leave from Malaysia to another country. But we will not let you back into the country. And of course, I had to explain to her that, well, that causes a lot of trouble for me, in particular because if I cancel the trip at this point, my bicycle and all my luggage is already on the ferry. That's number one. Number two, my social visit pass is expiring tomorrow, because she was saying, well, you could go to an immigration office, tell them your situation, apply for some sort of an extension, things like that. But I says, well, tomorrow is a Sunday, and that's when my social visit pass, so my pass for Malaysia, you're telling me I have to stay in Malaysia, and yet I can't because my pass is expiring. So what can I do there? And then she basically says, well, that is not my problem. My problem is to tell you, or my job is to tell you the rules. And the rules are that you can go, we'll let you leave Malaysia, but we're not going to let you back in. So it's up to you what you want to do. So I was like, oh boy, yeah, this is not what I was expecting first thing in the morning, the first day of this journey. Or in a way, I kind of was expecting it. There was so much tension in that whole area with loading up this boat with all the luggage and all these people. There was a lot of activity out there. I mean, everything worked smoothly, everything was fine. And yet there was that air of tension. I don't think there's anywhere in the world as tense or stressful as boarding transportation, like a flight at an airport. In this case, you would think boarding a ferry would be less stressful, fun and relaxed, and that's kind of why I wanted to take a ferry. But it can be pretty chaotic as well. And the scene here, though organized, was still very stressful. So that was exhausting, just going through that. And now I was sort of expecting that, and every time I go through immigration, to be honest, I expect that there's going to be problems. You just never know, and there appeared to be a very large problem here. And there were some fairly scary words being tossed around by the immigration officers. They were saying, well, if you go to Sumatra, then you come back in and we give you another social visit pass, you are abusing the system. We gave you this pass for tourism reasons. You're not using it for tourism, therefore you are abusing our system, and we can't let you do that. And now I'm like, I said, I politely, I disagree. I don't think I'm abusing it. It's a social visit pass for tourism, and I am a tourist. I'm on a bike tour going to Sumatra, traveling around Sumatra on the bicycle, and I did the same thing in Malaysia. I'm a tourist in Malaysia. I've been here for a long time, but I was still a tourist the entire time, and I was busy preparing for this next stage of my life as a tourist. So I'm sort of laying my cards out on the table, and she wasn't buying it. She says, no, you can take a chance, you can go to Sumatra, continue your journey, but when you come back, even if you fly in, they're going to look at your records and they are not going to allow you back into Malaysia at any port you try to get into. That's what I'm telling you now. So it's your decision whether you want to go or not. And then we had a longer discussion. Oddly enough, this is another interesting aspect. He saw that my passport was issued in Bangkok, and I told him that, well, that makes sense because my old passport expired while I was in Thailand, so I had to get a new Canadian passport, and I had to go to the Canadian embassy in Bangkok. So that's why the passport is issued in Bangkok. And he said, oh, well, do you have that old passport? And I've been caught out by this in the past, where when you get a new passport, technically you are supposed to throw away the old one or leave it somewhere. It's not really legal to travel with two passports in your possession, even if the old passport has been invalidated. You know, they cut the corner off the cover, but you're not supposed to bring it with you. But every time I've gotten a new passport and tried to leave a country, they will ask to see the old passport. So I find it's very important to keep the old one. I keep it for years. I never let it go. Because even leaving Malaysia, coming back into Malaysia, going to another country, they will ask to see the old passport again and again. Happens to me all the time. So I always keep it. But then things did change a little bit because I showed him my old passport. I guess my story made more sense to him at this point. And then I started describing, you know, my life as a tourist and as a, you know, bike traveler sometimes. Talking about how I would take pictures and write stories and share that with my friends and people online. And I mentioned, you know, the YouTube channel, Planet Doug. I didn't really want to talk about that in the beginning, but it seemed like it was a good thing to tell them about, so I mentioned, and his ears kind of perked up, and he asked me for the name of my YouTube channel, so I, you know, gave him a card for Planet Doug. And in the immigration office, they called up the Planet Doug YouTube channel, and he started watching all the videos from Malaysia, all of my videos that I shot while I was in Kuala Lumpur, in Penang, in Thailand, and suddenly, you know, dozens and dozens, you know, it goes back far enough, there are hundreds of tourism videos on Planet Doug. So if he wanted evidence that I am who I say I am, traveling around, shooting videos, as you know, and posting them to the internet, well, there's hundreds of videos of me being a dumb tourist all over the place. And he started going through that. And once he saw all those videos, then his attitude changed. And to be honest, at that point, I wasn't sure what had changed, but they were suddenly being much friendlier, much more open. And then somehow or other, the senior immigration officer changed her story. And then she said, well, how long are you going to be in Sumatra? And I said, I'm going to get the 30-day tourist visa on arrival, and then try to extend it for a second 30 days. So I'll be there for 2 months. And I outlined my plans to ride my bike to Bukit Tinggi, to Padang, to Lake Toba, maybe Banda Aceh, and do, you know, a 60-day bike tour in Sumatra, and that is my plan. And then she says, okay, you know, you promise that is what you're going to do. And she said, well, as long as you don't go to Sumatra and then come back in 2 days, like, you're not going to do that, right? You're not just going to go there for 5 days, turn around and come back to Malaysia. I says, no, I'm going to be there for 2 months. And she says, okay. But then in that case, and based on all of your videos of you being a dumb tourist that I see on YouTube, okay, we will allow it now. And then, yeah, it appeared that I was free to go. And then, but then, oddly enough, the original immigration clerk, he's the one who brought me to that office. He did my original assessment. I just assumed he would take me back to his counter, and then he would stamp my passport and I'd be out of the country. But he brought me back to the immigration area, and then he brought me to the front of the line, but now there was a different immigration officer who handled everything. So I started all over right from the beginning again, as if nothing had happened. I gave her my passport. She started flipping through it and started making all the same noises, like, oh, so you've been in, you know, Thailand a long time. Why was that? And oh, I see your passport was issued in Bangkok. You know, well, what's up with that? And how long are you going to go to Sumatra? She was asking me all the same questions all over again, and she didn't seem to like my answers either. And she was flipping through the passport, flipping through it, and I thought, okay, well, we're starting all over again. I thought, since I'd been cleared by the senior officer, I was now just going to get a stamp and be on my way. But she did the full-on interrogation as well, and she didn't appear to like my story either. But she eventually, stamped my passport, and here I am. So here is the boat, Indomal Fast Ferry. Much newer, bigger, sleeker, fancier boat than I expected, to be honest. And I can see down at the bottom there, it is called the Indomal Dynasty, I think. Yeah, Indomal Dynasty. It's the name of this boat. And there's the front of it. That's a major boat. 20 minutes till departure time, so I better get on board just in case anything else happens. I better go claim my status as a passenger on this boat. Yeah, that was a lot of work to get to this point. Tremendous amount of work. A lot of stress. Wow. Yeah, when I was standing even in line at immigration, you know, your heart rate starts to go up, you know, it's faster and faster. You've done, as far as you're concerned, you've done nothing wrong, and yet somehow going through immigration always makes you feel like you're under suspicion of doing something wrong. It's a very nerve-wracking experience for me. And I think being alone contributes to that. I think if you're traveling with another person, the two of you sort of share a bubble of invincibility. You know, so having another person with you lowers the stress level by quite a bit. You're having a shared experience. But when you're on your own, it's very different. And the one thing you're facing is what kind of the key thing that woman said, where she told me what my choices were, and one of them was to stay in Malaysia, cancel my trip, and just stay. I could do that if I wanted to. And then I said to her, well, that doesn't work because my social visit pass expires tomorrow, and all of my luggage, my bicycle is already on the boat. And then her response was, I understand, but that has nothing to do with me. That is not my problem. I'm just laying out your options. So the whole "that's not my problem" perspective, that's what goes on. Like when you're dealing with the ferry company that take you to Indonesia, that's one thing. Malaysian immigration to let you out of their country, that's one thing. Indonesian immigration to let you into their country, and then customs on both sides. These are all separate entities. They're not working together, and each one can throw up a roadblock regardless of what is going on in the other areas, you know? So that's kind of an interesting aspect to this kind of experience. Anyway, I better get on the boat. Okay. Whew. Hello. Thank you. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Oh, here we are. Inside of the boat. Whoa. Very modern, very sleek, very cold. It's strongly, I'm sorry, strongly air conditioned. Yeah, get organized here. And the boat is scheduled to leave in just a couple of minutes, and I happen to be walking around just in time to see them bring my bicycle on board. And I guess that's where it goes. They just rolled it onto the boat and parked it right there. And that's the luggage hold down below me. And they literally just hand all the luggage down to a person down there. Just kind of crazy. I wonder if my trailer is down there. That would be a very heavy object to hand down to someone way down there. Yeah, I thought I'd just take a walk around and see if there's any kind of an outdoor deck. I wouldn't mind being outside as we leave, but I don't know if that's allowed or not. It's one negative thing about these modern boats. They're more enclosed, more like a jet than an old school ferry, you know, where you can walk around on the outside the entire time. Yeah, well, there's the bike. At least I know it's on board. Funny thing is, I checked in my trailer and I checked in a pannier bag, but I didn't get a luggage tag for anything, like no luggage tag. Yeah, this is how they put all the luggage down there. Man, that's a lot of work. And they're gonna have to lift it back up again when they get to the other end. That's gonna take forever. I thought the boat was going to be really empty at first, and it's not jammed, which is nice, but more and more people are getting on board as we're getting closer. It's about 10 after 11 now, and people are still coming on board, and but as you can see, still lots of empty seats. I wanted to go outside, but you can't do that until we're out at sea. It's closed now. Yeah, this is the back of the boat. You can see a lot of empty seats. They're just chatting with all the young guys hanging out at the back there, the young workers on the boat. One guy, he said he lives in Dumai, and he works the boats between Dumai and Port Dickson and Malacca. Yeah, very friendly. I love the general atmosphere in Indonesia. People don't speak as much English, of course, as people do in Malaysia, but they're extremely eager to try to communicate. So yeah, it's a very social atmosphere. And I'm making them work hard already. They weren't really open, but there was a canteen back there, and I made noises about how much I'd like a cup of coffee. So yeah, I have my cup of coffee. And I just thought I'd walk around the boat for a second. Can make everyone jealous of my cup of coffee. I just don't like to sit down on these boats. I always like to be up and walking around. And they do have VIP seating upstairs, but I don't know how much more VIP seating would have been. I just went for economy. And there's my bike. So it's amazing to see my bike actually sitting there. One thing to plan a trip like this, but then to actually see it happening, you're wondering how in the world did you get into this position? You know, like what in the world are you doing on this boat heading to Indonesia? You know, it's like, how did I get here exactly?
Belakang belok kiri bisa, belok kanan bisa.
20 to 12, and we're just leaving from the dock now. I was hoping to be outside for this moment, but there's no way to go outside. But through the window there, maybe you can see the dock disappearing a little bit. Yeah, I can't really see outside, but already you can feel what kind of a boat, what kind of a boat this is. It's fast. I mean, right out of the gate, you can feel the power in the engines. We're moving quickly. Handing out immigration forms. Whoa. So we've been underway for about half an hour, just long enough for them to hand out the customs cards, and like you have to fill out before you arrive. And they gave me something called a statement letter that I had to fill out. I don't know what that was about, but all your usual passport numbers, addresses, and then they wanted the dates of all your vaccines and the name of the vaccine that you got. And that was all in the letter statement. But yeah, I filled all that out. Now I just want to head outside to the smoking area. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear me at all, but this is the one part of the boat that's outside that you can go to. And you can see just how fast we're going. Crazy fast. And this is the smoking area for the boat. Wow. quite something. I just spent a few minutes out at the back of the boat. There's an area out there, it's treated as a smoking area, but you can go outside and stand there for a while. You're protected from most of the wind and the spray from the ocean. But yeah, it's pretty wild back there because the engine is so loud. Like right now, my ears are ringing, my whole head feels like it's stuffed with cotton right now because I was out there with the noise of that engine. Whew, yeah, and I shot some video there. I tried to hold the selfie stick out as far as I could from the boat using 2 selfie sticks connected, but it felt very precarious, like it was going to break at any moment, especially if you go to the side of the boat, because the wind catches the camera and it feels like it's going to snap the selfie stick. So I didn't dare stick it out a far distance to the outside of the boat. There's just too much wind out there. It's like we're in a car going down a highway. But I just want to take a look. I think I can go up there. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, they have a rope blocking it. I wanted to go up to the VIP area just to take a look at it, shoot a bit of video up there. But maybe I can get permission from one of the crew just to go up there, you know, for a minute, just to see what it looks like. Yeah, it's the one stairway that goes up there, and there might be another one here at the back. On the boat. Whew. Yeah, I went back to the canteen because this morning I got a cup of hot instant coffee, which is really nice. So I wanted to get coffee number 2, but they've already run out. So yeah, they don't have any coffee back there. They have hot water for noodles, and you can get Milo, I guess Milo, whatever that stuff is called. But yeah, no more coffee. So I guess you kind of have to bring your own. But no big deal. I went for a cold drink. Look at that. Unifresh bird's nest. Never seen this anywhere before. I have no idea what it could be or what it could taste like. Taste test. Tastes a little bit like rice, like some kind of a rice drink, maybe? I have no idea. Well, I think it's from Indonesia, but there are no clues on it anywhere about what it could be made from. But it does taste like rice for some reason. It's like a rice drink. I think it even has rice in it. There's some like not crunchy, but you know, rice grains of rice in there. It says on there, great new taste, cool. So there you go. Well, it's about 10 to 2 in the afternoon. Getting very close to Dubai. On one side of me is a very large island called Rapat Island. And on the other, I believe, yeah, that's Rapat Island over there. And Sumatra is over there. I've never been to this part of Sumatra before, but from what I see on the map, there's a lot of industry here, a lot of oil refineries all along the coast. couldn't stay outside to take video as we arrive at the dock. Everyone had to come inside. But you can see a little bit out the window here, maybe. Some boats being loaded up. And as I mentioned when I was outside, there's a lot of oil refineries along the coast here. A lot of industry and things like that. And it looks like there's our dock. So the next stressful series of events of getting off the boat, going through immigration, and then trying to retrieve my bike and other gear. So let's see how this goes. And I have to buy my visa on arrival, of course. Let's hope for some smooth sailing until I'm out on the streets of Dumai with my bicycle. So here's the big moment when they open the doors. That's Indonesia out there, outside those doors. That's the, yeah. Oh, they need to get the gangplank, because it's down there in the storage area, the baggage area. Yeah, you have to be young and fit to get a job on Indomal. So I think that these guys down here basically have to lift every single bag to empty the cargo hold. That's amazing. But anyway, this is the normal pattern for unloading the boat. Look at that. Just watching this, I'm amazed that floor over there isn't more scuffed up and worn. You'd think with all the suitcases going constantly along there, it'd be all torn up and scratched up. Maybe it's a very new boat, perhaps. Oh, there's one of my bags, a pannier bag, which is kind of weird. I strategically left that bag almost completely empty because I thought I could just leave it attached to the bicycle, but they wouldn't let me do that. So yeah, it's just an empty bag sitting over there. But watching all the luggage come out is fascinating. So many different styles of packing. Some so professional, you'd need a locksmith to get into it again. And some is almost like garbage, you know, just sort of like plastic bags that just burst open when they hit the ground here. But these guys are being really good about it. Well, they're like putting everything back in the bag and resealing it. But here's the, there it is. There comes the trailer. There it goes. So one good thing about the trailer, it's big and bulky. Oh, it's the very last item to come out. But at least once they get it onto land, they can roll along on the ground. Doesn't have to be carried. So I guess now people will be allowed to get off. Okay, I think that mystery was solved. I heard footsteps coming downstairs. These are all the people who paid for a VIP seat upstairs. So those are all the VIP passengers coming down. They get to disembark first. Interesting. Yeah, I never made it up to the VIP area. It was roped off the whole time. So I didn't even get to go up to take a look around. A lot of people coming down from up there, I'm surprised. Okay, exiting.
Okay, mister.
Thank you. So you get here, you get luggage first and then go? Okay. Pardon me?
You have how much?
How much?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Ringgit. You have ringgit, right?
Oh yeah, I have extra ringgit. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how much?
Maybe.
You want to change?
Oh no, I was asking about the luggage carriers,
Luggage,
the
yes.
baggage handlers. If I give them a tip, how much do you give them? I was curious about the system. So, but I can bring it myself. I could just roll it. But
You just bicycle. Just.
yeah, bicycle and trailer.
And trailer.
Yeah, I can put it together.
Together and
Yeah.
So this one, 1,000 to 200.
Okay.
Rupiah.
A rupiah.
Not ringgit.
Yeah.
Rupiah, 1 kg.
You're right. Okay. If I gave a man some money, how much would I give him in ringgit?
Ringgit. 1,200. About. You give 30 ringgit. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe. I ask him.
Okay. Okay. But let me put it together.
You wanna go?
Oh, I'm going to ride into Dumai,
Dumai?
find a hotel. I don't have a hotel yet.
Oh,
So-
you don't find now?
No, I will look for one when I go in.
Oh, this you have Patra, Hotel Patra,
Okay.
just 1.5 kilometer
Okay.
from here.
All right.
Just riding.
Is it an expensive hotel?
Berapa? Ringgit, dia punya ringgit. Dua, yang ini aja.
Ini aja.
Dia ini bisa.
Okay, how much you give me?
Well,
Tahu berapa kasih?
I think I can just roll it myself.
Okay, 20 ringgit.
It goes on the bicycle. I think I'll be okay.
20 ringgit?
I can just roll it
Yeah, 20
myself.
ringgit, you like?
I
No.
think.
Bisa sendiri.
Yeah.
Oh, here.
Bisa sendiri.
Oh, iya, biar.
That goes there.
Dia apa dia bisa apa?
And then this one.
Bisa.
Okay, so just.
And that's all? And then I can go like that?
Just 1.5 kilometer from here.
Okay. Is it an expensive hotel?
You just have ringgit now?
Yeah. Well, no, I have some rupiah, but they're just big notes, not small notes. So,
150 ringgit.
like, okay. What's it called again?
150.
Okay. And the name of the hotel? What is it?
Patra.
Patra.
Patra. Hotel.
Okay. I'll
Just
take a
one-
look.
Here.
Oh, okay. Just over there.
1.5.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm off the boat. Trailer is attached. See ya. Thank you. And I was just curious if someone did help me with my luggage, how much was a normal amount to pay, but I couldn't get any clear answers from anyone. I wasn't sure whether there was enough room to roll the bike along, but everybody gets all their luggage here and takes it themselves, so that's why it works that way. Once you get off the boat, you grab all your luggage and just go. Yes. Oops. I have to find it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
For custom.
For there, oh, through there. And visa on arrival in there too. Thank you. Bye. So at that table there, I had to drop off that letter of intent or statement of intent, something, I forget exactly what it was called. But so far so good. Yeah, I just assumed I'd go through immigration first and then you'd pick up your luggage. But here in the ferry, it works differently. You can get your luggage right off the boat. So they have to have a lot of room. Ah. Whoa. Big lineup. Now it gets more complicated. I don't know how I can get through there with bicycle and trailer. Or anything at all, really. At the final stage. Okay. This goes through there? Okay. Hello? I'm all right. There you go. Whoop. Oh, right. Trailer, bag, okay.
Kameranya ya? Kamera jalan? Main kali Pak. Kenapa ya? Oh iya. Apa?
There you are. Thank you. You too.
Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Barangnya udah ada.
Hello. How are you?
Go.
Ya.
Yep.
Jangan tunggu di situ. Sini loh. Nanti kubutuhkan pada semua. Ini tidak malam belakang.
Bagasi.
Bugatti? Is that what it's called? I don't know.
What is going to Bukit Tinggi?
Eventually, Bukitingi. Yeah. All right.
CCTV. CCTV.
Just for YouTube. So, made it through everything.
Halo.
Hello, how are you?
Koi buat anggo. Go.
And if I was traveling with just a nice small knapsack and staying at a nice hotel, I'd have a van like that waiting to pick me up and drive me somewhere and probably have a nice cold drink waiting for me. But that's not how it's working for me. Not even sure how you get out of the dock. I'll try this direction. Let's see where I end up.
Where are you from?
Canada.
Canada.
Yep.
Glory, man,
Yeah. So I have officially arrived. That's the dock behind me. It's the bike in front of me. I'll talk about the whole experience of going through that dock once I start riding again. But yeah. Hello, how are you? Yeah, it's a pretty crazy experience. A lot going on, that's for sure. And of course, they don't often have a touring bike like this passing through, so it's not like there's a system in place. You basically just work it out as you go, and most of the people in there didn't know exactly what I was supposed to do, and you just sort of tried to keep track of everything and just go through it step by step. And before I'm leaving, I made sure to check. I've got my passport, I've got my ferry return ticket, I've got my wallet, got my phone, and I got my bike and my cameras. So I think I did not lose anything on this journey, which, to be honest, considering the journey, that's something of a miracle. So now I just have to head for a ride out into Dumai and try and find a place to stay. Hello. Okay. Time to go.
Hotel?
Yeah, hotel. Yeah, just find a hotel.
Hotel Grand Jury?
I don't know yet. I will look for a hotel.
Hotel.
Yeah, maybe Oyo something.
Oyo.
I think so. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
All right. My bike and camera 2.0 on the road in Sumatra again. Wow. Man, this whole trip really was in the balance when I was at the immigration desk at the Port Dickson side. There was a chance there I wasn't even going to make it to Sumatra, and if I did, I wasn't going to be allowed back to Malaysia. But I think it all ended up working out in the end. At least I'm here, and I don't have any big red X's in my passport saying I cannot return to Malaysia. So I think we're good to go. Just have to find a place to stay. I didn't really go over the bike, didn't really need to, since I saw the bike on the ferry the entire time. So I knew it was safe. I knew it wasn't being manhandled or tossed around or didn't have large bags piled on top of it. It was just standing there right in the middle of the boat, right where I was sitting, basically. Pretty warm, that is for sure. Sun is out and it is hot. But on the positive side, it's not raining. This journey from the port would be a very different experience if it was raining. I'm going to stop here for a second. Whew. I just want to imprint this on my brain because I'll be returning here in 30 to 60 days to make the return journey. Lindo Cabang Dumai. Oh no, that's something else entirely. The port is over there. Welcome to Dumai Port. I was wondering, I didn't recognize this at all, but that's, yeah, some sort of a industrial center of some kind, Palindo or something. But oh, there it is over there behind me. That's the entrance to Dumai Port. But what a difference, eh? I don't know if it comes across on the video, but being here in Sumatra is such a different tone compared to Thailand or Malaysia. Here, people are very outgoing, very eager to interact with me on almost all sides. It's kind of overwhelming at times. Going through the port, going through the building to go through immigration and customs, getting off the boat. So many people wanted to talk to me. I've already had posed for selfies maybe, I don't know, 10 times on the boat by the time I got here. And yeah, a lot of people taking a lot of interest in me and what I'm doing and saying hello from all over the place. Yeah, it's already apparent that the climate here is going to be very hard on both human being and equipment. I was just adjusting my 360 camera and it's burning hot to the touch. Feels like it's about to burst into flames. Hey, it shouldn't be hotter here compared to Malaysia, where I just was. I haven't come that very far, yet it feels very different. Maybe it's just a mental thing, but it feels extremely hot. So this corner up ahead, it's time for a map check. And I'm just going to work my way gradually towards a couple of budget hotels that I earmarked. At an airport, of course, I would have gotten a SIM card by now, but there's no way of doing that at the dock. All right. This looks like a good corner. I'm heading into a nice downtown area, I think. So I think downtown Dumai is not far away from the dock. Do you speak English?
Minutes.
Just a little bit. Anyway, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
These two young boys just stopped to give me a high five each. Just getting my bearings once again. Kind of a wild intersection. I'm not sure who's got a red light and a green light or anything. But I think I can just make my way around this circle. Well, I'm at another major intersection here, turning this direction. So I'm in downtown Dumai for sure here. Hello. Hello. Oh, I'm still looking. Still looking. So, but I'm running into technology trouble. That shouldn't be a surprise. My 360 camera lasted maybe 15 minutes in Sumatra, and it just won't turn on anymore. It just shuts down. I think it must be overheating already within 15 minutes. So that's definitely not a good omen. And now I switched over to the GoPro. And as soon as I turned on the GoPro, I got a big error message saying SD card error, saying the only way to fix it is to reformat the card, but then you lose all the footage that you shot. So I would lose all the video from yesterday. Luckily, I've already made a copy of it on hard drive, so at least I think I did. But yeah, my 360 camera and my GoPro both failed almost as soon as I arrived. Hopefully once I get into a hotel and the camera cools down, the 360 will turn on again. It would certainly be terrible news if it just doesn't work at all anymore. And I got 10 minutes out of it in Sumatra, and that's the end of it. We'll see. Something of a surprise, or maybe not a surprise, but something to deal with, is the amount of construction here. A lot of the roads in Dumai are being repaved and graded, so riding around is not as easy as you would think. Very bumpy roads. I'm fine, thank you. Whew. At least a lot of people are shouting greetings out at me as I ride by. I get a lot of smiles and waves. Whew. End of construction. So I have another Oyo hotel up ahead somewhere. And that's the last one on my list, so fingers crossed. But as I was riding along, I saw a sign for another place, Amira Wisma. So I'm going to pop in here and see what they have to say for themselves. Is this a home for Planet Doug? I like the entrance. It's nice and open, a lot of room. To see if the price is within the current Planet Doug range. Ah, it looks nice and clean, the entrance anyway. Oh, well, I hardly know how to speak. I'm so tired and so flustered from that trip. Man, what a small adventure that was, from waking up this morning at that hotel in Port Dickson, getting to the harbor, checking in with all my bags and my bicycle, and yeah, and then going through immigration, that whole thing with immigration, then the boat ride, and then going through the port here in Dumai. That was crazy. That was so chaotic. It's amazing. I got through it without making very many mistakes. I made a couple of mistakes, but not as many as I would normally make. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more later. I just wanted to touch base right now because I've moved into my room. This is my room at the Wisma Amira. And I wasn't planning on coming here. I was heading over towards another Oyo branded hotel that I had marked on my map. But then I saw a sign pointing to a hotel or something. Wisma is sort of a name for a type of hotel. And I thought I'd go check it out and check out all the space that there is here. So there's my bike and my trailer. Got a nice little table here and a nice big mirror. Whew. And they have a TV in here. Air conditioner is nice and strong. Seems like a relatively new hotel. Really big bed. And over here, yeah, the bathroom. Really nice bathroom. Probably not hot water, I doubt, but you don't need hot water in this climate. You want cold water. Yeah, nice sink. And they were incredibly friendly at the front desk. The original front desk people didn't speak English, but then a woman came out, Mrs. Grady, she said her name was, and she spoke English and incredibly welcoming. And yeah, it just made me feel right at home. Yeah, I love it here already. So I'm going to unpack, and I ordered some food. They're going to get some nasi goreng and some bihun goreng. I ordered 2 meals. 2 dinners, because I haven't eaten all day, believe it or not. I didn't have breakfast and I haven't had lunch, and it took me a lot longer to find a hotel here than I expected. So yeah, it's after 5 o'clock. Yeah, it's 10 after 5, and I haven't had anything to eat all day. I've just been drinking. I had a cup of coffee on the boat, but that's all I had. So I'm looking forward to some food. Yeah, I'm going to unpack, take a shower, have something to eat, and maybe I will end this video with my nasi goreng and bihun goreng when it shows up. But yeah, just to back up a little bit, when I was surprised when I had to roll my bicycle off the boat myself and then go through immigration, because the lineup to immigration was like one of those standard zigzag lines, you know, and there's no way you can go through that line with a bicycle and a trailer. It is ridiculous. Obviously you can't do that. So I was sort of waiting at the end of the line, wondering what to do. And then I approached an official there. Actually, it might have been an Indo Mall employee, actually. Spoke to him, and he says, no, what you do is you just leave your bike here, then stand in line and go through immigration, and then come back here, get your bike, and then you go around and go through customs. And that all made sense to me, so I said, cool, I'll go do that. And then I'm standing in line, keeping an eye on my bike behind me, but then another guy, I guess there was some discussion going on, and then they came up to me and says, no, you don't stand in this line, you have to get a visa on arrival first. So they took me out of that line and brought me to a little room that had a window there. And there was a young man in there. He had like a bag. He hadn't even opened up the bag, because it's very rare for someone to want a visa on arrival at that port, I think. So he showed up to go to work, but he didn't even bother unpacking. He didn't expect anybody to be there. I was probably his only customer for the day, and he saw me. He's like, oh, a visa on arrival. And he undid his bag, and you had to pay in cash. You know, you can't pay by card, debit card or credit card, and there's no ATMs of any kind, so you have to have exact cash in Indonesian rupiah, Malaysian ringgit, or US dollars. You have to prepare that in advance. I paid in Indonesian rupiah. It was 500,000. Anyway, really nice people there. Immigration guy was really friendly. The visa on arrival guy was really friendly. And then an immigration officer came up and talked to me after I was stamped in, I was officially given a stamp to enter the country. I was all done and ready to leave immigration. And he came up to me and said, and he took my passport and he explained what everything meant. Says, okay, you have a 30-day visa on arrival. And he told me you can extend it one time in the country. He told me the day it expired. He said it expired January 15th. I guess he did the math in his head, or maybe it's on the stamp, I don't know. But then he said, if you want to extend it, you have to go to an immigration office 1 week before the visa expires, apply for your extension. And he explained all this to me, welcomed me to Indonesia, absolutely wonderful. But then I had to go through customs. And that's when things get a little bit more complicated, because I've got the bike, the pannier bags, and the trailer. And I don't know if their X-ray machine does any good at all. For all I know, it's not even working. But every single bag has to go through the X-ray machine. And to my amazement, my trailer fit inside, you know, because Indonesian people going from Malaysia back to Indonesia, they bring a lot of stuff. They've got huge bags that they're bringing back from Malaysia. My GoPro battery died, had to put in a new battery, so I took advantage of that to move the camera and dive into my dinner. Said I wasn't sure whether one of these was going to be enough for me, which is why I ordered 2 dinners, nasi goreng and bihun goreng. So that's bihun goreng. It's heavy. There's a lot in there. And yeah, I definitely needed 2. They were saying that nasi goreng would be enough for 2 people, but I can tell whatever's in here would not be enough for even 1 person, like this person. So I'm definitely going to enjoy. And I asked for extra egg too. So there's my nasi goreng, extra egg. And let's open up my bihun goreng. Oh, that looks good. Okay. Yeah, very thin kind of glass noodles. And I might need a fork for that. Luckily, I have a fork, of course. Oh, I still have my coffee. Man, am I enjoying this coffee. It's very flavorful, and it is spicy. Wow. That first mouthful, I can already feel the heat building. This is going to be hot. Let's try the noodles. Very nicely done. I think I'm going to enjoy the noodles more because I'm not a huge fan of spicy food. And this, on the spice meter, is just beyond the limit where I'm happy. I can tell this is going to be a bit of an endurance race for me to try and get through all that and enjoy it while dealing with the spiciness. That's really hot. But this is not. Yeah, I was just saying that people who come back here from Malaysia have huge bags. So they have quite a large X-ray machine, and my trailer, even with the wheels still attached, went right through it, no problem. And then things are always a little bit tricky with those machines because the porters are there, and the porters have taken big trolleys piled high with many, many bags, and they're putting them through, and then they're all kind of, everybody's crowding around. So basically you take all your bags and then you put them through the machine, And in a normal kind of airport environment, you sort of have it in the back of your mind that you want to get to the other side of the machine to get your bag when it comes out the other side, because you don't want to lose track of it. You don't want someone to steal it. But in these ferry docks that I've been to, you put your bags down and they go through the machine and they pop out the other end way before you manage to fight through the crowds and get to the other side. And it was even more complicated for me because I had my bike, so I had to put all my bags down on the conveyor belt, go back and get my bike and somehow roll my bike along, and I'm fiddling around with my cameras too, and by the time I get to the other side, all my bags have come through already, and anybody could have grabbed one of my bags and run away with it, and there was nothing I could do about it. But luckily all my bags are still there, and I grabbed the trailer and I lifted it. I already had my bike, I thought, strategically placed so that I could easily bring the trailer over there. That turned out to be a little bit difficult to do, but I got it there. And then I slowed down again and I took my time. I wanted to make sure I had everything. But yeah, I took my time, and a lot of people came around, to watch what I was doing, look at the camera, look at the bike, say hello to me and chat a little bit. So it was very friendly, but a very crowded and very chaotic environment. And then after all that, I rode out into Damai, the industrial waterfront area. I talked about how the roads are actually pretty easy to ride down, considering the craziness of the traffic. It's still easier, say, than Kuala Lumpur. KL is much more difficult to ride a bike than riding a bike here, despite how rough the roads are and everything. And I guess that's pretty much the end of the story, Yeah, that's it. Here I am. And I think that is the end of my day today. That was quite a day. Quite a day. I'm going to be thinking about this day for a long time. Yeah. Whew. All right, that's it. That is how you get from Malaysia to Dumai, Sumatra, by bicycle on a ferry from Port Dickson. At least that's one way of doing it. So at least I got it done. It was hard, it was confusing, it was chaotic, a lot of ups and downs, but I got it done and here I am. So, shutting down, and I'll see you in the next video.